Golden State just locked down Jonathan Kuminga with a 2-year deal, and now they've got another choice staring them in the face. Brandin Podziemski's contract has a team option coming up, and while most fans might think this is automatic, there's more brewing beneath the surface than you'd expect. Here's what makes this moment fascinating. The Warriors are in a completely different position than they were when they drafted Podziemski back in 2023. The dynasty core is aging, the championship window is shrinking, and suddenly every dollar matters in ways it didn't before. This isn't just about whether Podziemski deserves his money, it's about what kind of team Golden State wants to be moving forward. Podziemski signed a 4-year rookie deal worth roughly $16 million when he came into the league. The structure is pretty standard for a first-round pick. 2 guaranteed years, then team options for years 3 and 4. Golden State already picked up that 3rd-year option last fall, which means he's locked in for this current season. But now they've got until the end of October to decide on year 4, which would pay him around $5.6 million. Here's where the math gets interesting. That option comes with a cap hit of about $3.6 million, and in today's NBA, that's actually solid value for a rotation player who can contribute on both ends. The Warriors aren't exactly swimming in cap flexibility right now, especially after adding guys like Horford, Melton, and Steph Curry to the roster this offseason. What nobody talks about is the timing of all this. The Kuminga negotiations dragged out way longer than anyone expected, which left the Warriors unable to finalize their other moves. They were stuck with verbal agreements while they waited to see where their money situation would land. Now that Kuminga's deal is done, they can finally see the full financial picture, and Podziemski's option sits right in the middle of it. Let's talk about what Podziemski actually brought to the table last season. He averaged 11.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3.4 assists while playing nearly 27 minutes per game. For a second-year guard coming off the bench, those are legitimate numbers. He wasn't just filling space, he was producing. But here's what separates the casual fans from the diehards. You've got to look at how those numbers evolved throughout the season. After the new year, Podziemski's production jumped significantly. He was putting up almost 15 points per game in the second half of the year, and his efficiency improved too. That kind of trajectory matters when you're evaluating whether a young player is worth keeping around. The Warriors needed secondary creation last season, especially when Steph Curry sat or when defenses keyed in on him. Podziemski gave them that. He could run pick and roll, make the right pass, and knock down open threes at a respectable clip. Nothing flashy, but everything functional. In Steve Kerr's system, functional wins championships. What's really telling is how Kerr talks about him. After a recent scrimmage, the coach went out of his way to mention how poised and confident Podziemski looked. That's not coach speak, that's genuine belief in a player's development. When a championship-level coach singles someone out like that, you pay attention. Now, here's where things get layered. The Warriors added Melton this offseason, and on paper, he's a direct competitor for Podziemski's minutes at the shooting guard spot. Melton's a proven defender with playoff experience, and when healthy, he's exactly the type of two-way guard that championship teams need. But, and this is a massive but, Melton is coming off a torn ACL from last season. Recovery timelines for that injury have gotten better, but there's always uncertainty. Even if he's cleared to play, will he be the same explosive defender? Will his lateral quickness be there on day one? The Warriors are betting on his rehab, but smart teams hedge their bets. That's where Podziemski becomes insurance. If Melton needs extra time to get back to full speed, or if he's on a minutes restriction early in the season, Podziemski can slide right into that role without missing a beat. He's already proven he can handle significant playing time, and he knows the system inside and out. There's another angle here that people overlook. Even if both guards are healthy, Kerr loves having multiple playmakers on the floor. The Warriors have always thrived when they can throw different looks at opponents, mixing and matching their lineups based on matchups. Having both Melton and Podziemski gives them flexibility that most benches simply don't have. Let's get into the part that front offices think about but rarely say out loud. Even if the Warriors aren't sure Podziemski is a long-term piece, picking up his option makes total sense from an asset management perspective. A young, productive guard on a cheap contract is valuable currency around the league. Say Golden State decides mid-season that they need to make a move. Maybe they're chasing a specific veteran, or maybe they want to consolidate their roster before the trade deadline. Podziemski on that manageable contract becomes a legitimate trade chip. Teams are always looking for cost-controlled talent, especially guards who can play multiple roles. The alternative is letting him walk into free agency, which gives you nothing in return. That's just bad business, especially for a franchise that's been as shrewd as the Warriors over the past decade. Mike Dunleavy Jr., their general manager, didn't build a reputation by leaving assets on the table.
Here's the uncomfortable truth that hangs over every decision Golden State makes. They're running out of time with Steph Curry at his peak. He's still elite, still capable of carrying an offense, but Father Time is undefeated. The Warriors know they've got maybe 2 or 3 more genuine championship runs left with this core. That urgency changes how you evaluate someone like Podziemski. Is he good enough to help you win a title right now? That's the only question that matters. His long-term potential is nice, but if he's not moving the needle in this season's playoff push, then his roster spot becomes expendable. The counter-argument is that championship teams need quality depth, and Podziemski provides exactly that. You can't win in June with just 7 or 8 guys. Injuries happen, matchups shift, and suddenly you need your 9th or 10th man to step up in a critical moment. Podziemski has already shown he can handle those situations without shrinking. There's also the chemistry factor. He's been with this group, learned the system, built relationships with the veterans. That continuity matters more than people realize. Bringing in new faces every year disrupts the rhythm that championship teams need. Sometimes the best move is keeping what you have and letting it develop naturally. So what's Golden State going to do? The smart money says they pick up the option, and honestly, it's hard to argue against it. The financial hit is manageable, the on-court production justifies the investment, and the optionality it provides, whether that's as a rotation player or a trade asset, makes it a low-risk decision. But here's what makes this whole situation fascinating. It's a test of how the Warriors view themselves. Are they still in win-now mode, prioritizing proven veterans over developmental pieces, or are they hedging, keeping young talent around in case this championship window closes faster than expected? The Podziemski decision won't make or break Golden State's season, but it reveals something about their philosophy. It shows whether they believe they can still win with their current core or if they're starting to think about the future. And in a league where perception shapes reality, that matters more than a single team option ever could. October 31st is the deadline. The clock's ticking, and whatever Golden State decides will tell us everything we need to know about where they think they are and where they're heading next.